The long party. So what we're going to look out for here are patterns that we see emerging again and again with the guests. Um, Imagine all of the heirs at J.J. Ford's apartment. And she's trying to get information about them, and they're trying to get information about everyone else. I hope we're not too early. Grace Winslow Wexler arrives at parties fashionably late, but not tonight. She didn't want to miss a thing, or a clue, or wait around in her apartment with a murderer on the loose. I don't think you've met my husband, Dr. Wexler. Call me Jake. Hello, Jake, Judge Ford said. A firm handshake, laugh lines around his eyes. He needed a sense of humor with that social climbing wife. What a lovely living room. So practically furnished, Grace commented. Our apartments are identical in layout, but mine looks so different. You must see. Come and see what I've done with it. I'm a decorator, you know. 3 bedrooms do seem rather spacious for a single woman. So stopping here, I notice again and again, Grace does the thing where she seems like she's giving a compliment, but she's actually insulting someone. She is saying, well, you're single, why do you need all this space? And you know what, my apartment's nicer because I decorated it, and yours is just practical. Again and again, that pattern emerges, and I think that the author's trying to show us that Grace Wexler is an extremely flawed character. There's not much to like about her. Now J.J. Ford's thinking to herself, what does she mean 3 bedrooms? This is a 1-bedroom apartment. Would you care for an appetizer, Mrs. Wexler? I'm curious to know exactly how you are related to the Westing family. The judge had hoped to take the heiress by surprise, but Grace gained time by coughing. Oh, goodness. Oh, that ginger, it's spicy. It's the Szechuan cooking style, you know. How am I related? Let me see. Uncle Sam was my father's oldest brother, or was he the youngest brother of my father's father? Well, excuse me, I have to greet my other guests. The judge left the prattling pretender. Father's brother or father's brother's brother. If the relationship was on the paternal side, her maiden name would be Westing. Okay? So again, there's that pattern of her pretending. You know, it's possible that the bedroom that Grace has with her family is a 1-bedroom, and that it's not a 3-bedroom like she's saying. And it's possible she's not related to Sam Westing. It's possible that she's not good at decorating. But other people are starting to pick up on it. The party went on and on. No one dared to be first to leave. Safety in numbers, especially with a judge there. So the guests ate and drank and jabbered, and they watched the other guests eat and drink and jabber. No one laughed, which seems like the opposite of a party. I guess murder isn't very funny, Jake Wexler said. Neither is money, Mr. Hu replied glumly. Deciding that his wife had found the perfect partner, the podiatrist moved on to the 2 women standing in silence at the front window. Cheer up, Angie Pye. You'll see your Denton soon enough. His daughter twisted out of his embrace. Are you all right, Angela? I'm fine. She was not fine. Why did they ask about Denton all the time, as though she was nobody without him? Oh, it wasn't just that. It wasn't even the humiliation of her mother chiding her, which means making fun of her, about the twin costume in front of everybody, and sending her back to their apartment to change clothes. It was more than that. It was everything. So maybe you're noticing some again and agains with Angela, and you can jot those in our slides, which is our class chart. Jake turned to Madam Hu. Hi there, partner. She doesn't speak English, Dad, Angela said flatly. And she never will, Angela, if nobody talks to her. Snow, said Madam Hu. Jake followed her pointing finger. That's right, snow. Lots and lots of snow. Snow. Trees, road, Lake Michigan. China, said Madam Hu. China, sure, why not? Jake replied, China. So, we could also notice some patterns about Jake and about Madame Who. What is she constantly thinking about? And does it happen again and again? Angela left the chatting couple. Why couldn't she have made some sort of friendly gesture? Because she might do the wrong thing and annoy her mother. Angela, the obedient daughter, did only what her mother told her to do. Hello, Angela. One of these tidbits might cheer you up. Judge Ford held the tray of food before her. I hear you'll be getting married soon. Uh-oh, I don't think Angela's going to like to talk about that. Some people have all the luck, Seidel Pulaski said, appearing from nowhere to lean over the tray and spear a cube of pork. Of course, not all of us women have opted for marriage. Right, Judge? Some of us prefer the professional life, though I must say, if a handsome young doctor like Denton Deere proposed to me, I might just change my mind. Too bad he doesn't happen to be twins. Excuse me. The judge moved away. So I'm noticing Seidel seems to kind of turn people off. She's kind of coarse and says things that people don't really want to talk about. Again, Judge Ford is noticed for being a single woman and not being married. And Angela's upset that she's getting married. Excuse me, the judge moved away. I'm not having any luck at all, Angela, Seidel whined. If only your mother hadn't made you change your clothes, someone surely would have mentioned the word twin. It's much harder to judge reactions when you have to bring up the subject myself. You shouldn't let your mother boss you around like that. You're a grown woman, about to be married. Excuse me. Angela moved away. Oh, yes, thank you. I would like a refill, Seidel said to nobody and hobbled to the bar. Something non-alcoholic, please. Doctor's orders. Make it a double. Twins. Ugh, twins. What's she talking about? Theo wondered, staring at the black and white checkered costume. Okay, 2 ginger ales for the chessboard. Coming right up. Hidden among her guests, the judge studied the 2 people standing off in the corner, the only pair in Sunset Towers who were not Westing heirs. Oh, Mrs. and Mrs. Theodorakis. George Theodorakis placed his hand on the shoulder of his invalid son. So invalid is another word for someone who can't do anything, but it's really not true of Chris. It's just the way everybody sees him, which I think is a pattern of again and again as well, how Chris is viewed. It was a large bronze hand, hard-working hand, like Theo's. Theo resembled him in many ways, tall, wide-shouldered, slim-waisted, the same thick, straight black hair. But age had chiseled the father's face into sharper planes. His troubled eyes stared across the room at Angela. Catherine Theodorakis, a slight, careworn woman, gazed down on her younger son with tired, dark-circled eyes. From his wheelchair, Chris watched the legs. Other than the funny lady with the shorthand notes, the only limpers were his brother Theo. Turtle had kicked him again. And Mrs. Wexler, who stood on one leg rubbing her stockinged foot against her calf. A high-heeled shoe stood alone on the carpet beneath her. Judge Ford didn't limp. Besides, Judge Ford couldn't be a murderer, in spite of his clues. Nobody here looks like a murderer. They're all nice people. Even this fat Chinese man who grumbles all the time. George Theodorakis greeted Mr. Who with, "How's business?" Who spun around and stomped off from his fellow restaurant owner in a huff of anger. James Who, inventor. That's who the judge wanted to talk to. But there was a problem at the bar. A long line had formed and it wasn't moving. So Theo's working the bar. I wonder what's going on over there. Well, there are 16 white pieces and 16 black pieces in chess, Theo was explaining to Seidel Pulaski. Do you play chess, Judge Ford? A bit, but I haven't played in years. The judge led the secretary away from the crowded bar. Theo must think that WestingGame has something to do with chess. He may be right. It certainly is as complicated as a chess game. And this is something I just noticed. There are 16 pieces in chess. How many heirs are there to the Westing will? also 16. So, now Doug and Mr. Hu are arguing. But I did study, Doug was arguing. The judge interrupted. I haven't had a chance to thank you for the delicious food, Mr. Hu. How long have you been in the restaurant business? Ugh, running up and down the stairs is not studying, Hu said. Seidel Pulaski butted in. Father and son, you look more like twins. You're equal partners with that Theodorakis kid, Hu continued. Why didn't you insist on holding the meeting in our restaurant instead of that greasy coffee shop? Probably because some people don't like to eat chow mein noodles for breakfast, Seidel Pulaski replied. There you are, dear. Grace patted a stray wisp of Angela's hair into place. We must do something about your coiffure. I'll make an appointment with you with my hairdresser once the snow is cleared. Long hair is too youthful for a woman about to be married. I can't understand what got into you, Angela, coming to this party in that old checkered dress and those awful accessories, just because your partner dresses like a freak. She's not a freak, Mother. Well, I was just speaking to Mr. Hu about catering the wedding shower on Saturday. I arranged for little Madame Hu to serve in one of those slinky Chinese gowns. Where are you going, Angela? Here's again and again. Grace is being racist. She is thinking that Madame Hu is like a thing to be displayed, right? And to show off in her Chinese gown instead of Madame Hu being a person. Angela rushed into Judge Ford's kitchen. She had to get away. She had to be alone, by herself, or she'd burst out crying. She was not alone. Crow was there. The two women stared at each other in surprise, then turned away. Poor baby. Crow wanted to reach out to the pretty child. She wanted to take her in her arms and say, Poor, poor baby, go ahead and cry. But she couldn't. All she could say was, Here. Angela took the dish towel from the cleaning woman and bunched it against her face to muffle the wretched sobs. The guests jabbered on and on about the weather, about food, about football, about chess, about twins. Turtle was slumped on the couch, scornful of dumb grown-up parties. You'd think one of them knew something about the stock market. She'd miss Sandy. Sandy was the only one in this dumb building she could talk to. Remember that quotation, May God thy gold refine? Flora Bomback asked. Let's take a poll. I'll bet 10 cents is from the Bible. Shakespeare, Turtle argued, and make it $10. Oh my, well, all right then, $10. Together, Turtle and Flora made the rounds. 4 votes for the Bible, 3 for Shakespeare, and 1 abstention. Madame Hu did not understand the question. Seidel Pulaski voted for the Bobbsey twins. And how do you know those words were in the will? She said suspiciously to Turtle, too suspiciously. So that's what lost important business papers meant. Somebody had stolen the shorthand notes. Turtle smiled at the delicious nastiness of it all. I remember, that's all. If you remember so well, tell me what comes before that, Seidel challenged. Well, I don't know. What? The secretary had an audience now, which is something I notice Seidel Pulaski loves. Again and again, she loves attention. Good or bad, she loves it. I don't mind telling you, but not if you ask like that. Theo said, Please? Not Turtle. Seidel turned towards him with what should have been a gracious manner, but she grimaced when the top of her crutch poked her in the chest. The exact quotation, she announced loudly, hoping she was right, is, Spend it wisely, and may God thy gold refine. Right or wrong, her guest was received with groans of disappointment. The heirs had expected more. A hint, a clue, something. It was time to go home. Okay, so take a look at the chart and add what you notice again and again and why you think the author makes that pattern. Thank you.